My name is Mpilo and I'm going to be talking about the state of South African football after the performance we saw at the World Cup. So South Africa went to World Cup 2026. It started off a trip at Mexico. Unfortunately, arrived there late due to visa issues and a lot of things that should have been solved by South African Football Association, but sadly they did the usual, which is mismanagement of travel arrangements. They did not finalize their bookings in times. They did not apply for proper visa admission, and so on and so forth. We saw the incompetence with the World Cup qualification round where Deboho Mukwena, instead of being benched, was allowed to play even though he had two yellow cards from previous matches, which was a disgrace. But I'm gonna give some room to breathe because in the end they did do a good thing. I'm gonna tell you towards the end of the video what good thing they did. Anyways, let me go straight to when they land in North America. As they landed in North America, they faced a Caribbean opponent, which was Jamaica, in a friendly match in order to try and prepare for their match against Mexico. Now, what's interesting about this match is arrival to the American continent, they couldn't really get enough time to play that match as well as prepare for Mexico's match based on the mistakes they were making in the Jamaica match. Now, I saw a lot of beautiful football being played in the Jamaica match. I saw lots of positive attacking. I saw lots of discipline from the players, and I saw very nice movements. I thought that was how they were going to play against Mexico and they were going to produce good results. But sadly, Hugo Push got scared. He was facing a host nation in his first World Cup match, and he resorted to a very defensive style of playing football that I did not enjoy as a South African football fan. He played a 5-3-1 formation, which is a very terrible formation in my opinion. We've never played that formation before. He tried playing a similar defensive formation during the Egypt-South Africa match in Morocco AFCON 2025-2024. It was terrible. We did not qualify for the next round of that competition thanks to Hugo Broos's disgusting playing style, for lack of a better word. Fortunately for us, we were then able to get a second chance in the World Cup qualifiers, and we managed to qualify for a next major tournament. By the way, we also qualified for next year's AFCON, so yeah, South Africa has a chance to redeem itself from this current performance. Anyways, going back to our World Cup tour. Yeah, so second match was against Czechia. Everybody thought it was a done deal. We are already out of the tournament. There's no chance for us to survive. We will go against, we will lose against Czechia. It's funny how everybody thought we would lose against Czechia except for South Africa, because we went into that match pretty confident, saying if Hugo Push does what we want him to do, then he would be able to get a positive result against Czechia. And he did exactly that. He listened to our complaints on the social media platforms, and he changed his team. He brought in an attacking player that we've been asking for and produced results. It might not be the results that we want, nonetheless, we live to fight another day. And man, did we fight against South Korea. If you look at the South Korean match, the stats were pretty much in our favor. The attacks that we were creating, the amount of possession we had, as well as the amount of shots on targets we were having were pretty good, pretty tournament because in the last match we had 0 shots on target. No, no, we actually had 1 shot on target in that last match. What a terrible performance. In the first match against Mexico, we had 0 shots on target, and that was our worst performance ever. While speeding on to that last match against Korea, we wait. Let me talk about the penalty he conceded. Mukwena. That was a penalty. It was clear, and that was a very good performance. That was a very good performance from South Africa. So I applaud them for bringing on that bravery, and thanks to Mokwena for stepping out and putting that penalty at the back of the net. Yeah, so moving on to that very last match against South Korea. Now, that was a heroic performance from our defenders. It was a heroic performance from our midfielders. It was a heroic performance from one of our forwards, Relebogile Mofokeng. To be honest, Tabelo Masego was nowhere to be seen. Tabelo Masego was missing throughout the match. Lokunja, also Napolis was nowhere to be seen. He has had a great tournament, don't get me wrong. That last game against Canada, he did very well. He did well on target. Yeah, I'm telling you, we're picking a different story right now because all of them were gold bound. And this is where I wanted to talk about South Africa's biggest link, our forward players or attacking players. Our forward players did not show up at this tournament at all. They were not clinical. They did not create the way they should have been creating. They were not brave when it comes to making decisions in that final third. However, there is an interesting formation that Hugo Bush decided to play in those last minutes of that Canada match, which I feel like if he would have given enough time for that style of play, if he would have maybe made that change in the 60 plus minutes, then we could have gotten a good result. Who knows? We could have made it to the round of 16. I'm not crazy enough to have thought that we would have made it into the quarterfinals or any further than the round of 16. I'm pretty realistic in my analysis of this situation. We as South Africa are a round of 16 team at the very least. I was happy that we even made it to the round of 32, to be honest, because the way the world was doubting our players, the way the world was doubting our football, and I know what I see week in, week out, and each and every single moment I said, but that is not our football that was on display. Our football, the football that we know and love, was the sort of football we played against South Korea, was the sort of football we played in those last minutes against Czechia. That was our football. Now, on the contrary to popular belief, Bafana Bafana played a very good game against Canada. They played a good game. Defensively, they were solid. In the midfield, they were finding the weaknesses of Canada. And the problem again was on the final third. We seriously need to review our striker coaches here in South Africa because this can't be a problem at all levels. We can't continue building the future of South African football if our footballers are not clinical enough when they are facing clear-cut chances like that. Well, we also need to fix the level of creativity passing to that midfield. what you call center mark, going into the second part of the field, into your opponent's half, and making sure that we can actually bring the ball to the final goalpost areas. That way we will be able to then shoot easy goals. But we need long-term solutions for this problem. We need proper process in South African footballing academies. We need to develop a killer instinct amongst our youth in those footballing academies, because every single child in South Africa wants to be a midfield maestro. All of them want to be a Tebogo Mokoena, and not everyone can be a Tebogo Mokoena. We also need people to play like you remember back in the days, players like Ukamo Mpela. We need players like that. We need players who can finish, like Benny McCarthy back in the day. We need players like that. I'm sorry to bring up the past, but unfortunately, our best strikers were some of the guys we had in the past. Ikram Reyners has an opportunity to be the best striker this country has ever seen. And to be honest, the new coach must find a system that works for Ikram Reyners going into that AFCON tournament, because if we can utilize Ikram Reyners the same way that Mamelodi Sundowns does, then we will be the best team in that AFCON tournament. South African football is on the rise. South African football is looking positive. I heard rumors from Ole saying Urele Bogile Mofokeng might be going to get back. Good luck, Rele Bogile Mofokeng. I wish you all the best. Man, you deserve this move. I also heard that other players might be going to places like Saudi Arabia. Tebogo Mokoena might be going to Saudi Arabia again. You deserve that move, bro. Go out there and do your best. You play fantastic football. I love the way you play football, and yeah, keep on shining the South African flag. Lyle Foster needs to come back to Orlando Pirates. Yeah, he needs to come back to Orlando Pirates. Helping him is killer instincts in front of yeah. And besides, Pirates is playing in the league. They let go of some of their best players. Maybe, just maybe, this is when they call on their academy products to come in and deliver for them. Anyways, thank you very much, guys. As a South Africa, I couldn't be more proud of Bafana Bafana. These guys are doing a great job. Ngathini mfethu, inhliziyo yami igcwele ukujabula, inhliziyo yami igcwele intokozo nje ngazo zonke izinto abahlezi bezenza on the world stage as well as on the continental stage. Sundowns wine i-star sabo sesibili, kumnandi nje. South Africa kumnandi, ibhola lethu lenza kahle. Yeah, nibe nosuku oluhle. Sharp.